got another update for you. Another exciting day here in Northern Vermont, and we are milling wood. Let me show you what we got. We got our first log milled up, and we got some 2x8s and 1x8, and I actually have a 1x14 up in the cabin that we're going to use for a shelf. But this is what we bought. It's a Timberjig, okay, and it's by Logosol, I believe. And basically what you do is you take one of these L brackets, okay, and you put it level on the log. I'll show you guys here in a little bit. I'll make some cuts for you. But you put it level here, okay, and then you do that on both sides, and then you clamp this guide rail that you make. They give you the little L brackets, and you clamp that guide rail to it, and you use that to make your first two cuts. After you have two flat sides, you can just use the jig for the rest of it. And this is a depth gauge right here, and it slides up and down like this, and that's how you decide, you know, what size boards you want. So pretty easy to make some wood and get nice square lumber out of it versus a Alaskan style mill. And basically the reason why I wanted to get this style is because, you know, you end up with square lumber versus, you know, having planks that you still have to trim the edges and all that stuff. And it's just a lot easier to handle, maneuver. It's not as heavy, and you get square lumber, and it actually, you know, leaves a good finish as long as, you know, you're using a big enough saw with a sharp chain. I'm finding that every 4 cuts or so, it's good to just, you know, give a couple swipes with the chainsaw file, and it keeps cutting like butter then. Other than that, I mean, the thing is great. It took me about maybe an hour to mill this log up, and that was because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, it was my first log. So now I you know, adjusted the mill a little bit because these are not exactly perfect, and then I also had to adjust my rail because that had, you know, a big crown in it, so it was putting crown in every side of my timber. But, you know, it's dimensional lumber, it's for framing, so it's not really gonna, you know, be a big deal. You know, it's called rough framing for a reason, so I'm not too worried about it. It'll get covered up. You know, the finished stuff, that's the stuff that you sand and make all, you know, look pretty. So it's pretty exciting. We're gonna hopefully get a nice stack of lumber together and then be able to start building as soon as the foundation's done. We're hoping to get that done in the next couple weeks, and the driveway is getting done this week. All these damn black flies. And then once the driveway is done, then we can get the forms poured for the basement and then move on from there. And basically, if anyone is planning on going off grid or anything like that, and you're gonna, you know, try to mill your own wood, I highly suggest, you know, considering this Timberjig, because it's the most affordable option that I've found. You know, even Alaskan style mill is going to be, you know, 500 bucks before you're all set up, you know, depending on if you're buying an aluminum ladder for rails, or you even buy the brackets where you use 2x4s, you know, you're talking at least, you know, 30 to 50 bucks just for those. And it just goes on and on. You can keep spending more and more money in oiler and all sorts of stuff. You know, the mill itself is anywhere from 100 to 200, and this, you don't have to buy anything else except for a couple 1x, and, you know, to me that just makes it, you know, more worth it. On top of that, I don't have to take it off to do any sort of extra, you know, cutting. If I gotta like slice off a nub or something from a branch, you know, I don't have to grab another chainsaw or take the mill apart or anything like that. And, you know, you can still handle it pretty easily. It takes literally 30 seconds to take it off and on, so it's not a big deal even if you did. And yeah, you get nice, you know, good lumber out of it. So I'm excited. I'm probably just going to use this stuff for a pig house for the mama, and you know, mill up some more for the house, because I got to get her into a new house. She's I think she's pregnant, and she's, you know, bossing everybody around and pushing them out of the house. They're being all noisy over there. So yeah, that's what I got for the next couple days. I gotta clean this area up and clear it out, and that's where I'm gonna extend the pig pen, and that's where Mama's gonna go. So got a lot of work to do in the next couple days, because we got the gravel coming on Friday, 20 tons for $385. So, you know, these are all things you want to consider if you're going to go off grid. You know, you want to you know, just keep in mind that, you know, every little thing is kind of expensive. So we're kind of just going paycheck to paycheck right now, and right now this week we're going to do the driveway, and then, you know, in a couple weeks we'll do the basement, you know, because we got to save a little bit of money. Oh my god, these flies are gonna drive me nuts. And then basically, you know, after you know, you find your land, you're gonna want to first off find if you even have access, because here, you know, we didn't even have access. We had to carve our way in. So, you know, that's the driveway is a real big thing that you want to consider. And you know, if you got to put a culvert or anything like that, that's another $400. And just to go one layer of gravel 120 foot, you know, that's one truckload right there. So yeah, it gets expensive real quick. So that's why we chose to mill all of our own lumber, because it's the best way to save money. So if you can make your own, then do it, you know. If not, you know, it's gonna cost you, you know. And right now everything is getting more and more expensive, and it's kind of scary. Like right now you can only, you know, get frozen meat that is at a somewhat reasonable price, and it's like, I mean, it's just nuts. I'm being told that farmers are actually being told to put down their animals and, you know, like dump their milk and all that kind of stuff. It's just insane. I don't know why they're being told to, you know, get rid of it. It's not like there isn't a place for the stuff to go, but I don't know. I think people around here, you know, really depend on everybody locally, so that's a good thing. So, like, you know, there is a couple people that went down south and they picked up like a few hundred pigs and sold them to everybody in the area. So I know there's not really going to be much of a food shortage around here, because everybody's pretty close knit. But I would prepare, definitely get yourself a backyard pig, you know, if you can find a pig still like relatively cheap. All you need is, you know, a 16 by 16 or 16 by 32 pig pen, you know, four pig panels, whatever, and raise a pig in the backyard. And, you know, that's what everybody did a long time ago, is they raised the pig. Everybody had their own pig, and it was kind of their kitchen garbage disposal. And usually the pig would be on the outside of the outdoor kitchen, so they could just throw the scraps right in the pen, you know. So things to think about, you know. It's kind of a scary time right now. So that's why we bought a couple more pigs, and we're trying to at least prepare to like not be able to get them, because, you know, who knows if they're gonna be, you know, actually available here in a little while. It's kind of scary, but yeah, pretty awesome. We're gonna finally be getting some wood ready to mill up, you know, or nail up and make a house. My wife is on my case hardcore. She said the house better be done by the end of summer, so that we can get it all dried in and, you know, the wood stove installed and all that stuff before, you know, it starts getting cold. So out here it's -30 to -50, I guess, sometimes, which is insane. I've never really experienced that. So should be fun. All right, guys, well, I'm going to show you how this works. I'll take a few cuts, and then you guys can see for yourself, you know, if it's worth it or not. If you think you know, it's the right kind of jig for you. I personally think this is the best way to mill wood if you're going to do it with a chainsaw. Like, hands down, it's extremely easy, you know, and yeah, you get nice good lumber out of it. So alright guys, enjoy the little time lapse I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna show you how much you get out of a log. Obviously, you know, there's ways to get more out of it, and I'll have to perfect that technique, because there's actually, you know, you can do edging with this. So all of your planks that you have the live edge on, you can actually stack them together, put them on your guide rail, and then cut the edges off all at once. I just have to kind of figure out how to lay that out. So that'll be, you know, something to try out here in a little bit, but for now I'm just going to stick with, you know, square cants and regular boards. So alright guys, enough rambling. Hope you enjoy the videos. first board. Looks pretty awesome. Once you come over here and you can see the kind of finish, it really does not leave, you know, big gouges. Where you stop and start, it'll leave a little gouge, but that's it. I mean, this you can sand it and it'll be fine for anything. So pretty awesome. Here's a 2x8 or 1.5 by, you know, full 8 inches. So that way we can get lots of insulation in the walls, as it gets -30 to -50. So this will be nice. This is what we're going to build our walls with, 2x8s, I think. So it'll be awesome. We should be able to get, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them out of this log. So we are well on our way. The only thing I got to do now is make some stickers, and if you don't know what those are, they're just basically, you know, like a 1/4 inch piece of wood, you know, the 4 feet long, that you would stick, you know, every foot in between your stacks of boards. So, you know, between every layer you want airspace, so that, you know, when they're dry, they, you know, they can all get air evenly. So I'm just going to keep slicing off the top here, and then, you know, that's it. I think you guys kind of get the picture of how this thing works. I need a little bit of a break, and I'm going to go and get my son and his axe, and then we're going to do a little video on the most efficient way to split wood, and he's going to show you guys how. So alright guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're new, make sure you like and subscribe, and you'll see how we're turning this place in Northern Vermont into an off-grid farm. And we will see you on the next one. Have a good one, guys.